I do need a haircut urgently, but I am afraid for my life, so I think it'll have to wait for a little. Okay, well, we are live everywhere. We are live on Facebook, on Instagram, and our Zoom session has started. So, who is here? I do need a haircut urgently, but who's in our Zoom meeting? I see a couple of names. Everybody's microphone is off. So remember that you can unmute yourselves and join the fun. So how are you? Welcome. It's 8 o'clock. We are running like clockwork.
Hey Alan, how are you
Hey,
doing?
Jesus. Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. And it's been a long time.
It's been, yeah, I think, what, a year maybe?
Yes,
At
no,
least.
maybe two. Uh,
Mm, I don't think so. It doesn't seem that long. I'm going for a year, like
I
pretty conservatively.
yes, I think it's a year, but
Okay,
I'm here.
pretty good. Um, so did you? I didn't hear from you during the first week. Did you have an opportunity to get to the book? Did you have a chance to read it?
Yes, the last week I couldn't be here, but yes, I you sent me the email with the book and the uh, help. What is help? Speech
Well, I call it a companion, which is
companion.
just like some extra book in a way
Uh,
to
I,
complement the reading.
I didn't use it, but yes, I read the book.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, the companion. I think it is a work in progress. The companion is just something that I want to like, yeah, to accompany the reading experience, maybe to help you with some control over how much you're reading. Like the exercises. I think that by removing the exercises from the book, it makes
Okay.
it just like you just focus on the reading. So I think eventually I will add some other features to the companion, but so if you didn't have a chance to look at the companion, that's fine, as long as you read the book. Okay, so okay, so hello everybody else. So I see here like our audience is a little bit more, a little bit larger than last class. So how are you? Everybody else with your microphones off, how are you? How was your week in terms of reading? I saw, don't be shy, I saw Ruben opening his mic.
Hello, Alan. What's up?
How are you?
Pretty good. What about you?
Pretty good. Oh, I mean, another long time disappearance. Uh,
Yeah,
we haven't, I haven't heard your voice in quite a long time, so I'm really happy that you're here.
I'm pretty happy too.
Thank you. Okay, so well, I think we can start now. I just I yeah, Ruben, you have something to say?
No, only say hello, and I um, regarding the book during the week, uh, I read every day, but I worked, so it was difficult to me read. But I separate a time to do this challenge.
Yeah.
It was a good lecture. But continue, please, Alan.
Yes.
You want to start?
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So as I mentioned in our first session last week, one of the objectives of this club is to get reading. Of course, if I mean I imagine that some people had an opportunity to actually read the text. Some other, like I heard from some other people that maybe they were a little behind, like they were not reading like as much as they should have by the time when they contacted me. But the idea is just to start reading. That's the first thing. They say that it is usually one of the hardest things to just start. So even if you didn't have a chance to actually like go through the entire book or read it, you will have some opportunity to catch up in our next book. So just the fact that you are here is proof enough that you are into this. So that's pretty good to start. I would like to hear. I mean, I don't know you personally, but you were active, a little active last class. Well, last session. It's a bias of language to call this a class. Natalia, how was your reading? How was your experience reading this pretty easy book last week?
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Well, I read the reading companion, and but in the last day, and then I read the comment that you made about don't read all the book in one moment, or a lot of pages in one moment, and because it's important to make the habit. Hello.
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
yes, and then I thought, well, I read all the book in
In one
in
sitting.
one day, one sitting. But it's important to, even if the reading is very light or easy, uh, you need to distribute the pages along the week. I don't
Yes.
know.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. And I think I think that's important because again, as I was telling well, before, as I was saying before, it is like one thing is to get going, to start reading, and also the other one is to work towards creating habits. And yeah, like maybe in the right in the beginning, it feels very easy, and we feel like, oh, I can do it in one sitting. Like maybe our reading level is not so low, and then we just need like maybe an hour, and we can read for an hour straight and finish the book in one sitting, and that's fine. That's fine for the purpose of this club. But then what's going to happen is, for example, the next book we are reading, we're going to take 2 weeks, so it's going to be a little like it's not much more long, but it is a little bit longer. So if you have that habit of, well, I will just read it maybe a Saturday morning or the Friday before the meeting, then you're gonna like your amount of reading is gonna grow exponentially. And then the idea is that we learn how to pace ourselves. We learn how to like you said, allocate time every day, distribute our time, organize our time so that we can do some reading every day. That would be ideal. So okay, is there any maybe negative experience that you encounter this first week? Is there anybody here who maybe couldn't finish the book, or maybe just like abandoned it halfway, or found it impossible to continue, or maybe just lost the interest? Is there any like negative aspect that you found during this first week?
Um, I, I could say that it was pretty difficult for me because the work and these activities that I have in the week. But like you say, we have uh, we could uh, put certain time in the day to uh, to create a habit, I think. And maybe it was a negative question, but yes, This first week, I think I have a little bit trouble for my reading, I think.
Okay, but it was mostly about finding the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. Yeah, no, I think that's gonna keep on happening for a long time until we finally find our like maybe moments of the day or reading days, because we are not used to that. Like what I essentially forced on you when we started this was like some period of time and a deadline. Again, there is no homework. I am not going to ask you for like the exercises. I'm not going to check anything. I'm not going to ask questions about like the like I'm not going to be like evaluating you in terms of your reading or your comprehension, but you know that you have a deadline, which is Saturday, like maybe 7 p.m. at the latest. You must have had that book finished by that time so that you can come to the session and participate. Because also if you didn't finish, you can come and just like listen to what everybody's saying or whatnot. But if you like, I think that perhaps the motivational factor is that if you want to come on Saturday and join the discussion, then you need to read the book in that amount of time. So I am not like neither a motivational speaker nor an organizational guru or anything. So I have no real tips for you when it comes to organizing your time. I have some ideas, and I think I will be making some videos during the week to address to touch on those topics. But for now, you would have to do it like in a like individually to figure out what you need to do to actually stay on track. But okay, so then let's, is there anybody else who wants to say anything before we jump right into the book? I see microphones going on and off. Anybody else? So I heard a baby. I heard a baby there.
Hi, my friend. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Fine, fine. Everything it's all right.
Okay, so well, it's your, I mean, it's your first time here. You didn't have a chance to read the book throughout throughout the week, but you can see now how this is gonna go, and hopefully you can start reading tomorrow. Tomorrow, well, after this session, I will send everybody an email with the new book, the new companion, and then you can start reading. Okay, so then let's jump right into it. So starting last Sunday and finishing just before this class, we were reading Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. It is an adaptation, as I mentioned before, and this is the kind of books that we will read for some time until we get comfortable with some, let's say, real literature. But this was an adaptation of one of the most famous adventure stories, perhaps the most famous pirate story in literature. And it was a short piece of text. There were some illustrations to help with that. And so let's see. So now we are full into the topic of the book, Treasure Island. So does anybody have any initial thoughts about the book? So just a couple of minutes before, we were discussing our our own challenges in finding the time to read it, in choosing spaces of the day or days of the week to read. But now, does anybody have any initial thoughts, ideas, feelings, reactions about the book? So after reading this book, what did you think of it? Was this the first time that you read it? Was it like a rereading? Had you ever heard about this story before? What are your initial thoughts on this book? Anybody? The floor is open.
Hey,
Hello.
hello. I'm George.
You are a Luijo on Facebook, right?
Yes.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
I have seen your name come and go over the years. So this is the first time that I get a chance to
Yes,
actually
that
talk
was
to you.
my first time to join in that types of activities.
Mhm.
But well, my first or my initial thoughts was where that I don't know. I thought that the book will be more I'm gonna say more uh, more adventure, you know. It's like I don't know. It was so plain, you know. But I think it was a great book.
Mhm.
I don't know. For me, I think that there were a lot of charges, so it was a little difficult for me because when I was reading, it was who are that guy or that it could be it will be I'm sorry, it was be a little confused, but
Okay.
it was good.
Okay. So you mentioned the like the whole like the subject matter. Well, the perhaps the development of the story, in your opinion, you
Exactly.
were you were entering the book thinking, oh, this is going to be like a super exciting and emotion-packed story, and then it was not. You were like,
Yeah,
it's not as exciting.
the story was I think was short, you know. The main story of the idea was super short. No, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I could imagine the a movie about that. It could be a little strange because it it is a short story. I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing that I well, now I'm gonna like make a parenthesis, open a parenthesis here. Um, it is a very good idea to revisit. When you are learning, the idea of revisiting is a very important one, and that means that everything that you listen to or watch or read at an early stage, like maybe when you are like beginning your learning process or something, it is a good idea to when you finish, give it some time, like let it rest for I don't know months or years, and then go back to it and see if like it is a good metric and a real metric to evaluate how much progress you're making. So let it sit for a couple months and then go back, in this case not about the difficulty, well, not about the story, but like just go back to something that you did before and see how much your listening comprehension has improved, or your understanding of a audiovisual has improved, or your reading comprehension has improved. And I say this because again, like this book that I gave you it was like 30 pages with illustrations. I have here the original book. So this is the original edition that was printed in like 1770 something, and it is 223 pages. 223 pages, like at this with this level of density, no illustrations. The language has not been modified. So this is like you compare those two stories, and essentially they are the same story, but there are so many differences in between them. So if now that you've read this story and then you find yourself you have some time to read the original one, you can try it. You can try maybe reading the first 5, 10 pages. If after that you say, okay, no, I can't do it, okay, continue reading other things, continue watching and listening, and then try again a month later. And then you will see how little by little you will get better at reading and at understanding. So this could be like your extra personal challenge, because yeah, like this is an exciting story. It's really packed with adventure and treachery and like plot twists and more characters than the ones in this book. So it is a good idea to, when you have the time or the opportunity, go back to the real thing and see how, like, what really the difference is in terms of language. I wrote this word here, disappointed. Do you think, Luis, do you feel that maybe you finished the book a little disappointed, contrasted with what you were expecting?
No.
No.
This wasn't disappointed. Just it was. I don't know. I surprised myself. You know, it's like that was easy. Easy, but with a lot of terms or yes, or words that I didn't know. But yes, it was a great story.
Okay, perfect. Did anybody else encounter the same, I don't know, the same situation of maybe there being too many characters in the story? Did you have a hard time trying to remember who was who and who was the captain and who was the doctor and what their roles were? Did you get confused with the number of characters in the story? Anybody else?
Yeah, that
Yes,
happened
Alan.
to me.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I had to revisit. I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think that this was a really great exercise, first exercise. Although I think the story happened like really fast, and I don't know if that's what Jose Luis, Jorge Luis,
Jorge Luis.
okay, was talking about. But for me, it's what like really quickly, and it's like, what? And you are in the island already?
Yeah.
But but yeah, I had to revisit this, but I think that was a really great first exercise.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. The story moves so fast. Like one page is like, oh, we reached the island, and then the next page is like, oh, we were like, we fought the pirates, and then the next one is like, oh, like we got a treasure. It's really fast paced, because they have to pack so many things, so many events in this story in just a very like limited number of pages. So it is true. It is perhaps unfortunate for us, but again, the more like as we continue moving upwards to more difficult or more challenging books, they will give more time to the development of the story and the characters. So yes, we have to start somewhere, baby steps. Okay, well, so here actually, I thought maybe, I didn't feel personally that there were too many characters, but there are a few in the story, and each one of them has a particular role in the story. So I have here a list of the people in the story. So we have Jim Hawkins, Billy Bones, Captain Flint. There's a T missing. The Doctor, Dr. Livesey, Mr. Trelawney, Long John Silver, and Ben Gunn. These are like the most important characters in this story. So can anybody tell me anything about these people? Like who were they? Why were they in the story? What was their role? Were they a good character or a bad character? Do you have a favorite? Is there a villain? Is there a hero? What do you think of the characters?
Well, talking about Jim Hawkins, is the son of the inn owner.
Mhm.
But I imagine him as a boy, maybe
Yeah.
12 or 13 years. And all the story, I imagine him like this boy, but I don't know if that's true because the story never told us his age. So I don't know if is he really a boy or not. And I think it was my favorite character
Okay.
because he's very intrepid.
Yes, they never say how old he is. And there are some illustrations in this book, and also on the Facebook group, I shared the like a couple of clips from a movie, and there are other movies also made from this. So I think they never actually say how old he is, but he must be like, I don't know, in the vicinity of like 9, 10 years old, perhaps a little older, but he's still a boy. And yeah, he does so many things that no 13-year-olds can do. Like I think of myself when I was 13 and like going on a treasure hunting expedition with a bunch of strangers and pirates. That would be just like uh, impossible for me to even think of. But yeah, he's intrepid and he's the boy, and he's almost, I mean, he's present in almost every aspect of this story. So that's Jim Hawkins. What else? What can you say about? So let's just for a second entertain the idea that maybe Jim Hawkins is the main character. Who is the second most important character in this story, in your opinion? Is there another person who is equally important or as important as Jim Hawkins?
Hello. I think it could be Long John Silver because he's the, well, I don't know the word in English, but the anti uh, I don't know, the
Yeah, the
hero,
anti-hero.
and I don't know. I think it's the story move uh, well with these two people. I think the
Okay,
hero, Jim Hawkins and Young Long Silver. I think.
okay. Who is Long John Silver?
The captain from the pirate ship,
The
I think,
pirate ship?
and in the beginning of the story it's a cooker, I think. No?
Yeah, he's the cook of the ship.
Mhm. Uh,
Yes.
But he really is an old friend of Flint's pirate, right?
Yes, he was in the, I don't know if the original or he used to sail with Captain Flint, and he was I mean, Captain Flint was a notorious pirate, so he was like an outright pirate. And Long John Silver used to sail with him. I think he had some positions in his ship, but then at the beginning they sell us the idea of him as a nice guy who is just a cook, experienced in the sea, and then like his character experiences some changes in the story. So yeah, I think maybe like anti-hero could be a word to describe it, which is not the same as a villain, because I don't know. Did you dislike Long John Silver? Did you hate the guy like you would hate a villain?
Yes, Alan. I really hate Silver because I
Yeah.
think all those men they are a betrayed man. So I think that Jim has is an encouraged man, and
Courageous.
well, courage,
Courageous or
courageous man.
brave.
Okay,
Mhm.
courageous man. because they need to fight with all those people, and there are less. If I remember well, there were five men versus 15.
Yeah.
So I also, if you can go ahead with, if you can go to the previous, yes, I feel the feelings from of Ben Jun, because he passed 3 years in the island, so it was a big difficulty being the island 3 years, abandoned from a captain that was a lot of money. Yes, and also it's Trelawney and Jim Hawkins and all the 5 people that always be in the same page, supporting each other. So I really feel that I don't know this.
I think he got disconnected. Can you can the rest, like the people who are still here, can you hear me? Was it a problem with his connection or my connection?
No, we can hear you.
Okay, so maybe he just said like, okay, I've said enough, I'm out.
Sorry, Alan.
Oh, you're back.
I have problems with my connection. Sorry.
Okay, don't worry.
Sorry, I finished. So I only want to say that I hate Stiller.
Okay.
And all those. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, personally, I was a little troubled by this character, because I think that, like, from the moment you discover he is a traitor, you are supposed to hate the guy. You are supposed to despise it. Like, oh, how can you do that? You are gonna murder these people and take the treasure for yourself and whatnot. But I had a difficult time actually hating the guy. Like, sometimes I was like, oh well, like, he's just very clever. He's a very astute person. He knows how to control people, of course, like to his advantage. He's just doing everything he's doing for himself. But I don't know, there was something in how smart he was that it was very difficult for me to say like, oh, I hope he dies or something. But I agree that he might be like the opposite of Jim Hawkins, in that Jim Hawkins is loyal and brave and intrepid and smart, and Long John Silver is just all of those things applied to ultra negative things. So yeah, I agree with that. And what else? What about Billy Bones? What do you make of Billy Bones? Like, this is the captain that we first meet on the opening of the book, the one that comes to stay at the inn. What's your opinion of Billy Bones in this story?
I think Billy Bones gave a clue about Long John Silver. So you can see, because of his comments, he said to Jim Hawkins that he's afraid of a man who have just one leg. So then I think it's Mr. Trelawney that said to Jim Hawkins, I don't remember so well, but they said like, oh, I find a man that could help us on this, and he only have one leg. So you, and on this moment, you can realize that it will be a lot of trouble because he will be on the mission. So I think Billy Bones is just like this character that helped you to realize some of these things, and of course it's important because he has the map.
Yes, Yeah, yeah. I think that he's like a token in the story. He is necessary because he, like you said, he's full of things that will eventually appear in the story. I mean, he has the chest with the map. Um, he is first attacked by Black Dog and the others trying to get the the map. He gives us the first mention of Long John Silver. So I think honestly, when he died, I was a little I don't know, if lost, because I always assumed that he was gonna be a big part on this story, and I was like, oh, he's dead. Then now what? But I think that the rest of the people in the story do a good job in carrying the story on their shoulders. What about, did you find any of these people, any of these characters, I don't know, boring or dull, or maybe even superfluous, like not really necessary or essential to the story? Was there anyone that you said, like this guy didn't do anything in the story, so we could just do away or do without him?
No, well, for me, in fact, he's not in this list, but I want to know what happened with Black Dog.
Black Dog. Yeah, I think there is there is another book. I'm not entirely sure, but there is a book called Return to Treasure Island. I am not entirely sure if this is a continuation of this book. I don't know if it was written by the same author. I don't know if maybe they like go deeper about telling like the other stories. Maybe it's like a spin-off. Maybe it's like Better Call Saul to Breaking Bad. But I think maybe like perhaps it could be something we could look into later. Okay, so maybe you're curious to know what happened to Black Dog. Personally, I felt I never really. I think that the story didn't need Mr. Trelawney. Like it needs it for like the. I mean, he's the one putting the money to get the Hispaniola and the crew. He's financing the trip. But other than that, to me, it was like what was this guy doing? He was just surviving. He didn't get killed, and that's his biggest achievement, I think. Yeah. So I mean, that's just a personal opinion. I didn't like the character of the squire, of Mr. Trelawney. Okay. Yes, who's there? Marco.
Well, I think continue with what you're saying. What happened if this character, Mr. Trelawney, didn't have the money? What happened? He starts the journey, getting the ship, and what happened, as you were saying, that could be no important in the story. Who could be the who give the money?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's an important, because like if we even like go with some hypotheticals, if in a different world Jim Hawkins is rich and is wealthy enough to finance the trip, then maybe Mr. Trelawney is non-essential. So he is absolutely, he's key to the story, because thanks to him, the rest of the story can happen. I just feel that
we could say that this man is who join all these characters in one point. This could be in the Treasure Island.
Okay.
This
so
man
you see
is
it as a coach.
Yeah, well, this man is who get the money, with the money, who get the Hispaniola and take this Jim Hawkins to the island.
Yeah. I think maybe that's I see it like corporate, like maybe in sports you have like the players who are the people who actually like play the games and win the games or win championships, and you have the coach who maybe in this case is the captain, or but then like upper on the hierarchy you have like the investors or the owners of the team, and they are in charge of like, yes, putting the money and bringing everybody together, but they are necessary because without them like nothing else can happen. But to me he was just like an obscure figure, like hovering, like eventually he appeared like, oh, there he is again, like, oh, he's there again, but he's no Jim Hawkins, I think. So he is not a 10-year-old kid who is the hero and saves an entire crew of a ship. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so now let's see. We have discussed, we have touched on this. Do you think that Jim Hawkins is the hero of this story? Is he like, does he single-handedly makes everything possible? Is he the one that makes the trip and that saves the lives of people and that brings the treasure back to England? Is he the hero of the story?
No, I don't think so. It's more like the storyteller, because I think Doctor I can remember. It's more the main character, Dr. Leipzig. He speaks
Why is that?
He speaks with Long John Silver and make like a deal to save Dick Hawkins at the end of the history.
Okay. So would you say that he, like, Dr. Leipzig is the hero?
It's the main character.
Okay.
And Jim, it's just the storyteller.
Okay. Interesting. Did I see another microphone going on? Who wants to contest that idea?
Yes, Alan, Ruben.
Yes.
I think in the other way around, because Jim Hawkins was the person that when he was hungry, go to the barrel to eat something, and he found, he heard the other people was talking about killing the five, the captain and Jim and the other people. Mm-hmm. So is the also save the ship, and I think is the hero here, because he was the first person that hears that, save the ship, and also advise to other, also find Ben and join pieces of the go back and back to the to home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was doing both readings at the same time. I was reading the book we were all reading, and I was also reading the original. And I think a lot of his heroism in the story is accidental. Like the first thing that he is that he does well or in benefit of the rest of the ship was like overhearing the plans of John Longsilver about the mutiny, about like the pirates and killing everybody. But it was like a simple accident. He was just looking for an apple, and then he happened to hear their plans. And also when he finds Ben gone on the island, it's also very circumstantial. Like Ben Gunn could find any other person, but he just happens to find him. And I think this, like going back to what Eduardo mentioned in the beginning, this is really like, given or facing those circumstances, he had the correct character to respond. Like he, I suppose he was very afraid as a kid would be, but he took matters into his own hands and then he did something to help the others. So that was maybe like part of his heroism. But yeah, I think like he's no hero in itself. He was made a hero, or he was forced to perform some heroic feats, and he responded very, very well. So I don't know if we could like classify him as a child hero, in that he's not a full grown-up hero, but yeah, he was he did the right thing at the right time because he was in the right time and in the right place. So yeah, I agree with that. I have here. So are you familiar with plot twists? What is a plot twist in a story? What is the plot of a story and what is a plot twist? No? Anybody?
Well, plot twist is like the change of the path of their history.
Mm-hmm.
And plot, I mean, I think it's more like the way, like it is going the history, and I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, the plot is the like the argument of the story. It's like when you read a synopsis of a movie, they are just essentially telling you the plot. So I don't know, the plot of Ocean's 11 is 11 people decide to rob a casino, and they are very intelligent in doing it. That's the plot. So in this case, I think the plot of the entire book is like they find a treasure map and they go and they get it. But during the course of this argument, during the course of this story, there are many moments when the story like shifts and then goes in a different direction, and sometimes it returns and sometimes it just diverges. So this book is filled with plot twists. What are some of the plot twists? What are some of the moments in the story when the story changes and appears to be going in a different direction? No? Anyone?
Well, just say no. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You have an excess of politeness here. So it was Anna. Anna, you got the floor.
Okay, thank you. And I think an example could be when Jim Hawkins realized that Long John Silver want to kill everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one could be when Long John Silver doesn't want to kill him when
Mm-hmm.
they are in the house on the island. So Jim Hawkins doesn't understand what's it's going on, and then Dr. Livesey comes to the picture and say like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." So
Yeah.
that could be like the two plot twists that I be aware of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think like that's why Long John Silver is such an important character here, because he is running some of the biggest plot twists here. Without his idea of treason, it's just smooth sailing. They are gonna get to the island, find the treasure, and go back home. But then it is his ambition and his greed that he says like, no, I don't want a portion of the treasure. I want the treasure for myself. So now I'm going to turn on the others and I'm going to kill them and I'm going to get the money for myself. That's one. And then like when things are going in a different way, and when apparently he should kill Jim Hawkins, he decides like, no, like I'm not going to do that for reasons that we discovered later. So yeah, those two things actually make us perhaps rethink the story, like what's going to happen. Like if he is a traitor, then what's going to happen? And if he is not going to kill Jim Hawkins, so what other thing is happening that we are not seeing? And then we discovered that he made a deal with the doctor and the other crew. I found, I was very surprised when Ben Gunn appeared for the first time, because he is also maybe more low key, but he is also a key to the success of the crew. He just appears out of nowhere, like people are killing each other in the woods, on the beach, and then this guy comes and is like, hey, I have the solution to all your problems. I got the money, and I can help you like defeat the pirates and get the treasure back home, which is a nice touch, I think, and also very plausible. Like, he's not an alien, he's not an apparition, he's just one guy who was abandoned as punishment by Captain Flint's ship. So he's just it's very convenient that he's there to advance the plans or to help the quest of everybody else. Okay. What about this? So that's an open question. I don't think, and this is not a fable, this is not a book to teach morals or values or justice. Like, this is just an adventure story filled with a lot of the elements that come in adventure. But when you finish the book, how did you feel? Did you feel sorry for some of the people in the story? Did you feel sorry for the ones who died? Did you feel sorry for the ones who were abandoned on the island? Did you feel sorry for Long John Silver? Did you feel sorry for, like, is there any justice in this story? Is it a just story, in your opinion?
Well, for me, no, I don't agree that at the end, Jim and his team help John Silver because he wanted to kill them, and at the end, Jim and his team help him. I don't agree with that.
So if you would have been, if you had been if you had been Jim Hawkins, would you have killed Long John Silver?
Maybe, or abandoned him in the island. Okay. Because additional to that, they give him some part of the treasure.
They don't explain that in this version of the book, but what happens is that everybody goes back to, first they go back, I don't think they mentioned the name, but they go back to a different place, maybe in the Caribbean, and Long John Silver escapes. Actually, Ben Gunn helps him escape because Ben Gunn is still afraid of him. So he helps him escape, and he flees. He takes some money, and then he goes away. So it's not that they are giving him some part of the bounty. He just, again, proves that he is not a really good person, and then he's like, okay, bye, and then he takes some money and runs. But that is possible. That is made possible because they pretty much they spared his life. Do you know spare?
Yes, but maybe not in the same way.
Oh, in this case, as a verb, and in this context, when we say that they spared him, it means that they didn't kill him. They let him live. We say something like forgive a person's life. So they forgave his life. They didn't kill him. And yeah, he was able to escape and take some money because they spared him.
I would have abandoned him in the island.
Okay, but here's the thing. I think they don't abandon him because at the last moment, like at a crucial moment, he helps them. It is also possible for him for everybody to escape because he helps them. so I think that one of the biggest problems with this character is that he's flimsy. He's flimsy. He flip-flops. Maybe like a little fancier word would be that he's mercurial. You never know where he stands. One moment he's like your friend, and then the next moment he's your deadly enemy, and the next moment he's your friend again. So he just switch positions so often that it's very difficult to catalog him as naturally good or bad. So I think, I don't know, I think maybe like the just thing, the fair thing would be to abandon him. But at the same time, I would think, I don't know, like we are alive because he helped us. So it wouldn't be very Christian or very humane to kill him or let him die on the island.
And also, I think he all the time takes care of Jim.
Sorry, he what?
He take care of Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that. So.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. That's a good question because I don't know what I would do. I think I don't know. I am not vindictive, so I don't think that I would kill him just like, oh, you did this to me, so now you're dead. But at the same time, I think I would be afraid. I wouldn't like to have Long John Silver on the ship going back home because he did it once. So what is stopping him from doing it again? I think I would be very, very cautious of him because he did what he did with one leg, which is amazing. You know, like the entire time he's carrying a crutch with him, and he managed to do all of these things pretty much with his words. He just commanded people to do things with his words. So I don't know. I think he would be very dangerous on the ship back home. Okay. Does anybody have a different opinion? Do you think that the story is just? Do you think that the story closes nicely? Do you think that the end is actually what needed to happen to give closure to this story? Anyone?
Yeah. Well, in the story that you give us, it's a weird or odd final. But but you explain that London Silver escapes and there's a story that could be more specifically. It's more, I don't know, maybe if we have the short story, we can imagine that it's a valiant.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that there are so many. And another thing, I think it was Anna who mentioned in the beginning that the story moves very quickly, and we don't really get a chance to know the characters so well. There are a lot of descriptions in the book about like how they think and how they behave and how this impacts other people, like this power of manipulation that Jung has is very evident, and is an essential part of his character, that you really get a bigger picture of why he's doing what he's doing, which is not really possible to get or to extract from this short story. But again, I think it's we needed to start with something easy like this. And again, I would recommend for you later, sometime in the future, to read the original version, because it will just complement the idea that you have right now. Okay, so I think for my age, I was supposed to have read this book as a kid. It is usually like targeted to kids because like pirates and treasure hunting and maps and captains and all that, that's usually attractive to kids. As a kid, I never read this book. I read it like just last week as an adult, but I didn't feel that this was a story for kids. Did you? When you were reading this, did you feel like, oh, okay, like, yeah, it's interesting, but I think maybe I am too old or too much of an adult for this? Do you think this is a children's story or not? Like, how do you feel about the story?
I think it fits more for teenagers.
Teenagers.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Did anybody else feel like I am reading below my level? Like these are topics that are interesting for kids or teenagers, and I am too old for this?
No, I think that version, that short version, it could be great for a teenager as a. I don't know the real version that you mentioned. I don't know how describe the scenes, and it could be a violent scenes. I don't know, but that version, that short version, it could be a great for teenager.
Okay, okay. Do you like the Pirates of the Caribbean? Do you like those movies?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I have never seen any of those movies. And for that reason, I was also surprised that I liked this book so much, because I like pirates and treasure is not something that like catches my imagination, or that I would perhaps voluntarily decide to read. But it was really a good experience. It's a good story. And again, I couldn't find the a link for the movie. I think it's on iTunes or on Amazon or something. But I think it would really complement the experience here. It's supposed to be like a huge movie, like maybe The Wizard of Oz in American cinema. So if you have a chance to complement what we did this week with some other materials, of course, in English, to maybe broaden the experience or make the story more comprehensible, I would really recommend you do that. I posted on the Facebook group one podcast that I found and some clips to the movie. I haven't listened to the podcast, but I am going to, because it is sort of like a theater play. So there is sound effects and characters and like the story moves along. And now that you know the premise of the story, which is a captain is killed, we have a map, they go to get the treasure, there is mutiny, there's piracy, then they kill them and they go back. Now you know the story. I think following what's happening on the podcast, for example, would be easier for you to do. So that's just some extra recommendation here. And well, so then when we finish here, I am going to send everybody the next book, our next book. And I mentioned it in the when I presented this course, and also there are a couple of pictures going around on Instagram and Facebook. Our next book is a detective story. So there is a private investigator, there is a crime, there are suspects, there is the police. I think that story, it is better adapted, I would say. This story was okay, but that story is, it is more immersive in a way. The language is a little bit more imaginative. So I think it would be a good book. We continue with the same level. It's also level 2, but it is a little bit longer. So this book, Treasure Island, was, I have it here, it was 21 effective pages. So we read 21 pages in 1 week. The next book is 45 pages, but it has a lot of illustrations. So it's only like a little bit more than 30 pages. And we are going to do this in 2 weeks. Now, when we do the math, we are going to read only 15 pages a week. So that is fewer pages than we did this first week, but it's a longer story. So one key element in reading is to read longer stories, or in this case, longer narratives, as much as fast, as quickly as possible. So we are going to take 2 weeks for this next book. It's a little bit longer, and depending on the result of this reading, perhaps when we finish that, we are going to take a longer book and maybe take 3 weeks. The idea is that eventually we get to 1 book a month. So we need to train also our time management and our perhaps attention, or our capacity to stay engaged in the same story, because books are, like, books are usually like longer. Like you can find like a novel that is, I don't know, 50 pages, but usually books are, they go over the 200 pages. So that's what we want. We want to read the real deal eventually. So so then that's how we are going to do it. The dynamic is the same. I invite you and encourage you to share on our groups on WhatsApp and Facebook, not only questions. It's not only about questions. Maybe you don't have a question, but you want to tell everybody how you're doing, if you are enjoying it, if you didn't have time to read some pages in a couple of days, but you are reading now. Like, just tell us how your reading experience is going, because that's one of the idea of this club. We don't want to read alone. We are reading alone, because reading is a lonely activity by nature, but we want to share our individual reading experience with the rest. So so that's it then. I'm gonna send the email after we are done here. Please, everybody who received an email last class should receive an email tonight. If you don't, or if the files are not attached on the email, please tell me. You can reply to me directly via mail, or you can text me on the WhatsApp group or on Facebook. Just reach out to me and tell me if something is wrong. And so pretty much we are gonna be done today. Does anybody have any final comment, any suggestion, any doubt, anything that you want to say? No, I will take your silence as everything is fine. Should I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Okay. So well, thank you very much for being here. I hope this is meeting your expectations. As I told you at the beginning of this course, I am also new to this, both the reading club and the running of the book club. So if you at any point feel that something needs changing, just feel absolutely free to tell me, and I will talk to you, text you during the week, and I will see you again next Saturday at 8. We are going to discuss only the first 4 chapters of this book, so the first 25 pages with illustrations. We will not have the culmination of the story by Saturday, so we are going to make some speculations about what's happening, where the story is going, what we think may happen, what should happen, and all of those things. So thank you very much for being here. I'll see you again next Saturday. Have a nice Sunday, and have a nice week going back to school or work. So thank you very much. And
thank you, Alan.
Bye.
Have a great
See you
week.
guys.
Thank you.
Yo, Alan.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye now.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Take care.
Bye.